Welcome everyone to our coffee chat of the month. If you don't know me, I'm Fernanda Landigrafi. I'm the host of these sessions. And today we have a very interesting topic. We will talk about informal markets in Latin America. So I don't want to spend a lot of time in the intro so we can get to the content. But before that, I just want to pass through a few guidelines. Lau, if you can move the slides. I know that most of you have heard this a million times, but if you're new here, this is important to have in mind. So we truly encourage participation. We would love you to have your cameras open. You can open your mic, make questions or comments, or use the chat. Feel truly free to participate, but keep in mind that we do publish this material in our YouTube channel. All right. So for our speakers of the day, we have two speakers. We have Lindsay Lear, which is our managing director here at PCMI. Lindsay will give us a bit of context about the topic that we will dive in. And later, Vinicio is our guest speaker of the day. Vinicio is the founder of Tributax. Thank you a lot, Vinicius, for being here with us today. It's a pleasure to have you here. Tributax is a fintech that helps individuals and small business to formalize and manage their taxes in Guatemala. So very interesting topic. I think this will be really great. So Lindsay, the stage is yours.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Fernanda. Hi, guys. Great to see we still have people kind of joining us. I see a lot of people in the waiting room, so we are filling in the room, which is great. So anyway, great to see many of you back. Welcome, Vinicio. We're very happy to have you. We'll have you introduce yourself in a moment. Guys, what I wanted to cover today was this very interesting topic of formalization, which in emerging markets we know is a massive barrier to the payments industry, right? And is a huge source of the persistence of cash. So you may have seen maybe a month ago, we put out this article, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I'm going to mute that background noise. There we go. We put out this article, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. This is a series that we do every year on kind of what to expect this year in Latin America. And the bad was informality still wins. So despite the massive transformation we've seen in digital payments in the past 5 years, and even more recently, the acceleration we're experiencing, there's still the bad, or this shadow that really has not moved very much, and that is the informal market. So I'm just gonna, this is a quick video that covers the main points, about 2 minutes. So we'll start there and then start with our conversation. I'm not hearing audio on my side.
I guess, Lau, you need to unmute so we can hear the.
Let's try that again.
Lau, you're muted, yeah.
No, it's still not going.
We cover the good, the bad, and the ugly payments. Look at my last video on the good. In this video, the bad is that in Latin America, while we've made real progress in digitizing payments, we haven't cracked the hardest nut yet, the informal economy. Roughly a third of Latin America's GDP is informal, and 42% of people live in households that depend entirely on informal labor. That means no taxes and no official oversight, and very little incentive. Sure, digital payments use grow 50%. In fact, instant A2A systems like PIC and SteamPay are creating a strange gray area. Digital, yes, but still informal in many cases. Money is flowing through personal accounts, not declared as business income. In Costa Rica, some systems are even exempt from sales tax, which promotes informality. Meanwhile, markets like Guatemala and the Dominican Republic still see over 50% of consumer spending in cash. Mexico is a key case. over 8 million informal businesses, many of which operate entirely with a storefront. Why? Because going formal is expensive and complicated and risky. Here's why. There are high costs for permits and bank services. Processes are manual and slow. Taxes are scary. For micro businesses. Perks for paying taxes, like access to credit, training, or discounts. And maybe most importantly, a new narrative. Governments must stop acting like watchdogs and start acting like allies. The core question for any informal business when considering formalization is, what's in it for me? If we can answer that, we can unlock the full potential of digital payments and bring millions into the formal economy.
All right. So apologies, the audio was really not optimized. You had the captions there, but hopefully you could capture the main idea. Really, what we're seeing is that as you guys who work in Latin America and emerging markets, you're very well aware of how large the informal market is and how much of a boon for cash that is. And what we've discovered here, you can just see how many households rely on informal labor in Central America and Mexico and Latin America overall. And in countries where we still see digital, digital laggards is where we really have very high levels of informality. And, you know, in our research, we've discovered that small merchants, micro merchants, those, you know, everyone has this dream of growth and everyone has this desire to see their business prosper. However, there's kind of this understanding that that requires formalization, that requires being seen by the government, that requires paying taxes, that requires a relationship with a bank. And that comes with a lot of negative connotation. And Vinicio will be able to speak to this more authentically than I can, but many of you know this to be true. So the hypothesis of that article and that video that I'm pitching there is that this is actually a topic that the payments industry needs to take a hold of. So far, you know, it's really been outsourced. Like, this is a public sector issue. This is a government issue. If we go to the next slide, we can see that there are actually technology solutions that can be leveraged to help small merchants feel more comfortable with formalization and actually take steps to move in that direction. You know, of course, the barriers are multiple, but we're actually seeing around the world, Stripe and Cash App are just two examples that are tech platforms designed to help small merchants better manage their relationship with the IRS or the AFIP or the SAT or whatever it may be. Now, of course, Stripe and Cash App operating in the US, a completely different context, but nevertheless, it demonstrates that this is kind of an area where fintech is starting to move. And I recently presented some of this content at Fintech Day in Guatemala, talking about this issue of informality and challenging the banks and the fintechs in the room to take on this issue and try to solve it through technology. Vinicio approached me afterwards and said, "Wow, Lindsay, you know, thank you so much for your presentation. I've never really heard someone talk about informality in this way," and gave me an introduction to his company. So I thought it was a great opportunity to invite Vinicio to tell us how he sees this and what his solution is working on. So with that, I will hand it over to you, Vinicio, if you want to do an intro, tell us about yourself, and then we'll just have this conversation.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay, for the invite, and Fernanda for hosting. Yeah, when I saw your presentation in FinTech Day, it was like, wow, finally someone is talking about the big problem of formalization and how it does affect not just fintech, but everything developing like credit, financial services, agrotech, everything that everybody wants to build is affecting the informality is a big barrier. So yeah, I'm in Tributax. I'm trying to change that to like see these companies like fintech and say, okay, you need to formalize people if you want to sell your services. And they say, why, Vinicio? Because if you are taking digital payments, the IRS sat here is going to take a look at that. If they take a look at that,
Vinicio
they're going
Zamora.
to
Sí, sí, sí.
they're going yeah, sorry. Yeah. The IRS or SAT, they're going to close your business and going to threat the fintech or the financial service that is offering your services because basically they are uh, giving services or buying something without taxes. So I think it's a big problem. And to give a little bit of context of how Tributax is stuck on this problem of informality, basically, it didn't start this way. Tributax, the core business is accounting services. The vision for Tributax was always to help people. Here in Guatemala, we have a big problem in education. So that translates to big problems to small people that didn't know how to do their taxes. What I mean about that is because, yeah, for a big example, if I want to take a job or start my own businesses, I have to have my taxes, my tax ID, uh, my papers all in order. Because if I don't, I literally can't stop. I can't even start to have a job or start my businesses. So the main core tribute tax is always has been like to help people. Here in Guatemala, we have a lot of problems. So maybe with taxes, we can solve one of problems and just make the person or business just focus on sell or to be better. So we can go to the next slide. Yeah. So we started looking to informality. So why we started looking to informality? Because like a startup and just start. We literally we were the first accounting services here in Guatemala with an application. Now we have two competitions, and the business was okay. We have to sell this. We have to go B2C, but as a startup, it's really expensive to go B2C. So I started looking to informality and how we can take the CPGs, the fintechs, and take out that companies like our allies. The first company that is our ally right now, and we're working formalizing the SMBs is Pepsi. So why Pepsi is motivated to formalize their businesses? Because they literally can sell more than $200 to $300 to these businesses if this SMB is not formalized. Why is that? Because the IRS put a restrictions to Pepsi to do not sell these guys with the motivation that okay, this guy is going to incentivize the small businesses to formalize so they can sell. So literally, Pepsi was like growing a lot of in sales, but with this went down. So I talked with not just Pepsi, with a lot of CPGs, and I was say, okay, I can build a solutions for you so you can formalize your businesses, your small businesses, and you can sell more. But when I start looking, when I start going to Ruta to looking for these small businesses, talking with them, I say, okay, these people really don't want to formalize. Why they did it? Why they will care, right? Why they will pay taxes? Why like here in Guatemala you have a lot of corruption, so they don't see their money going to public transportation or to infrastructure and all those things. So it was like, okay, these guys is really going to be tough to incentivize, to formalize, but then I say, okay, what if we open the door? Because how do I see it? Like the accounting information that we have in TurboTax it's an enable. I see like a door. If you are formalized with your ID tax in order and all order, you can literally ask for credits. You can ask for payment. You can ask for digital payments. You can ask for insurance and assistance, for insurance assistance, for medical assistance. So I say, okay, Tributax, I have to change Tributax to be an enable, and that's what we're doing right now. So if you can go to the next slide, please, Fernanda. What is the current narrative? Narrative here in Guatemala is that SAT, the IRS here in Guatemala, is spraying a lot of fear to small businesses. What do you mean like that? Like a month ago, a TikTok video went viral because literally SAT agents went to a small business client of Pepsi and all these big CPGs and literally closed the business because they didn't have your tax ID. So that went viral, and that was a lot of fear. Like, okay, SAT is coming for me, but I think that story is not that good because people, okay, if they're coming for me, yeah, that's not an incentive for people to formalize. People are scared of the IRS, for government, and all that, so they just want to keep that away. So, okay, that's I see that effort like a bad example. So okay, we in Tributax, we need to change that narrative, the current narrative of the government that they're going to close your store and they're going to with the police and all that. So we have to change the narrative, and we can go to the next slide here, Fernanda.
I have a question,
Okay.
Vinicio, on that.
Yeah.
So is this enforcement from the government of shutting down stores, is that a new trend or has that happened always?
That happen always because here in Guatemala, if the SAT areas go to the interior of the country, they literally will kidnap the people of SAT, and yeah, it's really tough because everybody have afraid of them. Why is that? My theory is like these people don't know anything about their taxes. So if they don't know anything, that causes fear and like everything, like in so yeah, that's a little bit new.
It's interesting, it's interesting the mentality, right? So the fear of government oversight is not an incentive to formalize. It's actually an incentive to stay even lower under the radar, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting just the mindset, in the United States, people pay taxes because it's what you do. It's enforced. If you don't do it, that the IRS, they're not going to come arrest you, but they're going to come there. You're going to get a bill and you're going to have to pay that eventually. But it's funny, when I lived in Argentina, I would never dream of not paying taxes. But when I moved to Argentina, I ran an English tutoring business. I had teachers, I had a staff, it was all in cash. I was a foreigner. I didn't have a bank account. It was all under the table. Because it was allowed. It was not looked badly upon. My customers were absolutely fine, and everyone said, just keep this under the table, Lindsay. You don't need to do anything with the banks. It was just an accepted behavior. But that was because there's not much enforcement, right? So I'm just finding it interesting that there is enforcement, yet it's like a violent enforcement. It's not an incentive. It's actually making people kind of go more in the shadows.
You realize your confession is now recorded.
Right, it's recorded, it's on the cloud.
But it does raise a very important comment. I mean, pretty much everyone on these calls is in the payment industry. And how much does it restrict potential growth with the fear that if everything is electronic, it's going to be handed over to the government? That might be so. What you're saying is there needs to be more benefit to being everything on record than there needs to be enough benefit for it. And you're focusing on that, which is good. And I like this slide because this is telling you what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it's changing the narrative. So yeah.
We have to change the narrative because SAT always grab that fear too for example, okay, I have a small businesses. I just want this fintech, this digital payment for my business because it's going to grow my business. But the digital payment doesn't have any invoices, right? So SAT literally can go to these small businesses and say, okay, you have these digital payments. We can see it because it's digital. So where is coming from? And the person is going to say, yeah, it's coming from my business, but that doesn't know that. So they literally can tell the businesses, okay, that's money laundering. Why? Because you can prove where it's coming. So that's happening. That's happening right now. So we have to, and I think that's have a bad a negative impact because it just causes fear. And the tools, yeah, we have the digital tools to connect the digital payments to the invoices. We are doing that right now, but a lot of fintechs, yeah, I think that the fintechs have enough problems. Like a startup, they have to go to critical masses to get volume, the investors and all that. So they don't want to look to all the negative that is go invoices and SAT and all that. But that's like how Tributax, I'm trying to build Tributax around that. Like, okay, you can focus in your fintech and sell your solution to everyone, and we can help you to we can help you to comply with all the requests of the IRS of the SAT here in Guatemala. So this picture is a real picture of that I take to a small businesses here close to a Guatemalan airport. So we go to the business. We went to Pepsi with MasterCard and Migo Payments. That is called Ali, this project. So we literally go to the small businesses. The small businesses has a lot of competitors around them, formalized competitors like 7-Elevens or Oxxos. But here in Guatemala is called La Torre Express. So this business is like motivated. Okay, a lot of my customers are going over there because they accept digital payment, they accept credit card, they accept transfer. So we go to these small businesses and okay, we go to Migo Payments and with MasterCard and say, okay, here you go, you have your payment, your phone already available to take. Sorry, yeah, your phone already available to take credit card payments, and with Tributax, with everybody, with every each credit card payment you have, we are doing invoices, and with Tributax we are doing your taxes monthly, and we are taking care of your SAT. So this guy is, I love this guy. It's called Oscar. He's really excited. The business is really growing. He's selling more because he accepting another payments, not just cash, just every payment from QR codes, from credit cards to transfers and all that. But he is already accomplishing with everybody with SAT. So SAT is really fine with this business because this was an invisible business, but right now it's really visible. So I go to this small business and say, okay, you already have all good with your digital payments. I want you to look to Tributax like an enable. So we are offering credit with Bana. It's a big commerce here in Guatemala of microcredits. We already have insurance offering for the businesses. We are offering e-commerce because these little small businesses, it's a restaurant, so it's a little delivery, and we are offering like another tools like he can sell with WhatsApp and all that. So this business is really happy because we are seeing this is a big case because we're seeing this business was all cash, but right now is taking all types of payments, credits, assistentials. He's all okay with SAT. So this is an amazing case, and we are changing the narrative, and we are doing that with a lot of other businesses. So we can change the slide, Fernando.
So I have several questions, Vinicio. Let's go to the next slide. I want to make sure I'm not going to ask what you're going to cover, but Okay, go back a second. So this company or this business, right? You said it was a restaurant. It's just an example of a success story, right? So I think you touched on something very real. You know, a lot of businesses, I've heard this so many times living in Latin America and talking with people about the informal economy. There's this thing about being invisible, right? Being visible versus visible. And a lot of people want to stay invisible because they can do what they want to do, they don't have to pay. But there's like a personal gratification that you get when you become visible. It's like, wow, I joined the ranks of people who are serious, like la gente seria, no? You know, I remember talking in studies that we've done, you know, we've talked with unbanked, informal sellers on the street, and they say, you know, I'll accept digital payments like one day when I'm bigger, when, you know, when I'm a real company. Right now, I'm just like a hobby almost. So I don't know, tapping into that human desire to be recognized and to be rewarded for your growth, you know, is something that's very beautiful, and really speaks to the heart of a lot of these. It's very human, this issue, right? And I'm wondering, of all of those benefits that you listed, is there one in particular that you have found to be like that really unlocks people, or is it like the combination of everything that you have to provide? Or is there like one incentive that people are really interested in?
Maybe there are two incentives that I'm seeing right now because with this program, it's called Ali, it's with Pepsi. So you can see in the previous slide, Fernanda. We can go back up. No, in the previous one.
There we go.
Yeah. So here you can see this debit card by MasterCard. So if this commerce is a Pepsi client, is buying things with this card to the CPG is giving this commerce loyalty points. Sorry,
Okay, loyalty
I
points.
just
Yeah.
get sorry. Yeah, I was trying to translate that, but yeah, loyalty points. So this person is buying we are literally digitalizing the cash. So this commerce is buying to Pepsi, is giving points back. So this commerce can change it with product or anything they want. So that's a big incentive that I'm seeing right now. And the other incentive is payments. So yeah, for example, this commerce is they have a competition and a lot of people is going over there and with credit cards and all that, but these companies have to know I don't accept credit cards or debit cards, so they go to another businesses. So okay, we are enabling to take the payment method. So yeah, those two I think that is the more powerful, Lindsay, and the
Yeah.
credit is a big role in this in for example in Guatemala.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And as follow-up question is, so now once a company starts working with you or, you know, is visible on ante la SAT and everything and accepting digital payments, so now they have to pay tax and they have to pay commission for receiving cards. So how does that new economic burden, how do they react to that? Are they, I mean, obviously it's something that they want because they're working with you, but like, are they shocked? Is there resistance? Do they raise their prices? Do they just eat the cost with hopes to grow? Kind of what's their reaction to the new burden that is on them?
They're seeing this payment like an extra income because
Okay.
all their income of cash is stay the same. And when someone goes to credit card, they say, okay, I can set credit card right now. So they just seem like, okay, this is extra. Don't worry about it. So yeah, they're feeling like that.
Okay. And so it's additional income that they wouldn't see otherwise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And do you notice a behavior? So like, is there a behavior where the merchant might only declare transactions that are accepted with digital payments and cash transactions are still kind of under the table? Is there
Yeah.
a hybrid behavior that you're observing?
No, we're just seeing that the people is going to just pay taxes about the digital payments and the cash stays invisible yet.
Okay, got it. But at least they're
Yes.
they're set up to as that cash gets digitized over time, they're prepared.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
So
Fantastic.
right now we are building an ecosystem of alliances. Digital payment, we have Suma Pagos, Pago, Ali, Recurrente, Ombo, Migo Payments. All these are traditional payment methods that they go to the commerce, and they're going to offer their device, and it really started here in Guatemala. But we're also looking with other financial services because, okay, this commerce was informal. The commerce doesn't have any bank account. So how is this fintech is going to pay the commerce the transactions? So we have allies with banking system, with BAC and BAM, Bancolombia. So we enable people to open their bank accounts on those two banks. So the fintech is going to liquidate them on that bank account number. So we are doing that right now. We are doing that with it's a free wallet. That is a wallet that is really well positioned in the interior of the country with cooperativas. That's agribusiness, and Bana and Crece, that they are the credit people that they're doing an amazing job here in Guatemala. They have really like 1 million users in their app with microcredits, so really big. And institutional support, this is amazing. We have SAT, of course, because we are doing their job basically with a better narrative. Banco Guatemala, yeah, because they all care about, like you say, Lindsay, this commerce was invisible. Now we're doing visible, so the Banco Guatemala is okay. We are now seeing this commerce, so they're really grateful with us. Ministerio de Economía, obviously with Asociación Fintech Guatemala, we are members, and they're helping me like getting around this ecosystem that, for my admittance, when I started Tributax, I didn't know anything about fintech. It was just building up. So it's amazing. The Guatemalan Congress, yeah, we're having a lot of support of the congressmen because, okay, they're seeing a big impact here. Of the formalization. We are literally doing that every day. So I'm having a lot of support over there too. And the agro sector, that's a little bit a far stretch. Why accounting with agro? But for me, it seemed like we are agro country. Guatemala is full agro, and we're seeing like it's all the same because these small farmers, they want to grow. So okay, they're doing their fruit or vegetables, and they want to sell it. They're seeing right now to the e-commerce sector, and how to take digital payments. So we have an alliance with Bayer, with a big WhatsApp bot who is called Cultivo, that it's amazing. And Agropecuaria Popoyan, who have a really big muscle in the interior of the country with agro services. So we are doing well. We are everywhere. I think so. So we can go to the next slide. And this is the channel. We are doing formalization through WhatsApp. Why WhatsApp? Because, okay, an app is really expensive. We have to educate the people how to use an app. They have to download the app, and that's really expensive for a fintech of our side. We also try to do a LinkedIn, a web app that is not that expensive, but it's better. And a lot of people have a lot of confusion. A lot of confusion and barriers. Why is that? Because WhatsApp here in Guatemala, when you buy a phone or a SIM card, they give you WhatsApp for free. So it doesn't consume any data. If you do it like Safari or Google Chrome, you have to click on that link, and that will consume your data. So that's a big problem here because everybody wants to take the data. They want to see TikTok videos. They want to talk to WhatsApp. So they're not going to go and to formalize with a link. So we are doing it through WhatsApp. It's an amazing tool. We have a partner here in Guatemala who's called Yalutech, and who is the business brother from Yalo. So they give me like, okay, have fun here in the back end of WhatsApp, and we are building all this here in WhatsApp, and we're having a really good result right now. We can to the next slide, Fernanda. Here's the video. Yeah, sorry. So how does it work? I'm telling this customer that I'm from Pepsi. So if I go to Pepsi, we have a keyword to identify the commerce. Okay, we're telling the commerce, okay, you're ready to grow your businesses with Pepsi? Yes. And they're starting all the flow. So yeah, the CPG is paying for the formalization of this commerce. Why is that? Because of the digitalization of the cash, it was really expensive for the CPG, and for the barrier of SAT, who I was telling before. So they can see this business, they can sell more than $300 a month. Now with the business formalized, they can sell a lot of products. So they're really happy with this.
So what
And
did they do before? You know, Vinicio, when you're not formalized and you have a limit on how much you can buy from Pepsi, how do they solve the need for all of their merchandise?
yeah, what happened is that the small businesses were not buying directly to Pepsi. They're buying to the black markets, right? To
Okay,
the
yeah.
yeah. So
Other
that happened.
distributors and other local guys who, okay.
Yeah, that
Okay, so
happened a
do you
lot.
think, is this going to also boost Pepsi's business and cut out those middlemen who are those
Maybe
intermediaries?
I think it's going to have a big impact because with we're connecting Pepsi with a lot of small businesses where we're buying to the black market. So yeah, I think it's going to have a big impact on that, and going to have and going to increase the Pepsi sales.
And so I think I missed what you said at the beginning. Did you say that you guys, can you explain how you go to market? You sell your tool to Pepsi or to other digital enablers, or you go direct to the small business?
No, like what we're doing right now is like we go to the salesman of Pepsi who is
Okay.
building a trust word of 20 with the small businesses, and we are selling Tributax through them. It's amazing to do that because
Got it.
if you go to Ruta here in Guatemala, you go to these commerces, and okay, you go with Tributax hat and all that. They are scared, like, okay, who is this guy? What does he want? But if you go with Pepsi, they're like, okay, yeah, don't worry, yeah, have a drink, don't, yeah. So that's a big,
Right.
that's big.
And what is your business model? Do you charge a platform fee to Pepsi, or is it per user, or?
Yeah, so we're charging Pepsi for the formalization of each individual, and after that, we are selling the individual our accounting fees monthly. So we're doing your taxes, we're doing the invoices, and with a monthly fee, they're paying us, and yeah, all is good.
So is this free to the small business?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's
So where we stand
that's an
today?
amazing service, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It took a lot of years to achieve this, but yeah, we are working right now. So where we stand today, like I said, 70% of the conversion is better in physically. Why is that? Because I think that trust has a lot to do with this. So we are going with Pepsi, with the salesman, and we are doing all the formalization through their phone. So they're giving all the information. With the other fintechs that doesn't have this alliance with CPG, like Pago, Suma, that they go directly to the businesses, they're using just digital, no physical. So the conversion is less, 60%. I think so because when we go with Pepsi, we give a lot of context, a lot of information to the small businesses, so they understand what are we doing. But with the other alliances we have, they're just selling their tool, their payment method, their credits, and they're saying, okay, you want this, you have to go over there. But they send it to us with no context. So I think that's the big difference we're seeing right now. Our vision is complete integration with SAT. This year, SAT is going to give us like a special category to Tributax to do all the formalization directly with a lot of related to SAT. That's a big win for us because SAT is giving us all the tools and all the information that we have to connect and formalize this. And we are trying to push this conversion rate from 16% to 60% for digital through WhatsApp. We see that it's achievable, but we have to educate the people first. We have to give context. What are they doing, and why, and how it benefits the businesses? Because if just with formalizing, they're getting a lot of things. But when they're having like the patente comercio, that okay, they are so happy with that because they're saying they're seeing the business name register and all formalized. So that's awesome to see. So we are just building more partnerships, more banks, and we're trying to be everywhere because I really think that the content information that we have of each user, it's amazing for each fintech, each bank, each insurance, each all that. So I see Tributax like a door, like okay, you're invisible with Tributax door, you're now visible, and you have all this uh, to content to grow your businesses. So
Yeah.
we are seeing right now, and it's awesome. I really like that. We are really literally helping people to sell more, and we're seeing the impact. They're literally selling more in their invoices. So that's awesome.
I think it's a wonderful narrative, Benicio, because especially in emerging markets, there's a lot of negativity around digital, especially like right now, there's a lot of negativity around digital payments and the cost that they represent to small business and how it's oppressive and card fees are really problematic. But this is creating a totally new narrative where you're seeing digital payments is actually unlocking growth. It's actually unlocking new sales, and economic growth, fighting poverty, creating resilience, right? So, I mean, I think that's a very powerful narrative that the industry kind of needs right now.
Yeah, and I guess, Lindsay, that also speaks to the mentality that you just mentioned, because when the enforcement is really high, so the regulators, they are like looking for those business, then they tend to be like lower on the radar, and that limits growth. So they tend to like keep small, so they don't need to formalize. So once they formalize, that's about what you mentioned that I think is really important. Like they think they are real business, not like a hobby. It's just because they can grow and they don't need to stay like lower in the radar. I think that's really, really noble.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you have any numbers for different like restaurants or small stores of the growth that takes place once formalization has happened?
Right now, we are building that because we are just so focused on the formalization process. But right now, we have to build all that metrics that will help us go to other governments or another enterprises to see, okay, they're selling more. If they're selling more of your product. So yeah, we are building that. But right now, I don't have a specific number, Nick.
It must be difficult to get those numbers if it's all unofficial, and still half of it is unofficial. But that would be a real indicator of the why small businesses should be doing this. Pure bottom line numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a question from Serian in the chat, Vinicio, related to tax withholding, which is very interesting in Guatemala and Central America. So, do the businesses you work with withhold taxes when receiving payments with cards, or do they fall below the threshold and do not make any withholding? Is the acquirer withholding? Is the payment facilitator withholding taxes? I know that that's a big challenge in Guatemala. So, could you speak to that for a moment?
Yeah, right now it's the payback. They have a threshold. If the transaction is bigger than $300, 2,500 quetzales, you have to do you have to restrain that tax. What is below, you don't, so you have to pay taxes with of that. If the commerce is not selling anything with credit card below cash, we still have to do their taxes with a zero value of income on that month, and we're charging less when that's the case, because like I say, we need to help small businesses. I don't want to charge a lot and this business is like is falling apart. That's not the spirit of Tributax. So yeah, that's a big issue right now. The PayPal has to do the declaration of the tax, and yeah.
Okay. One of my questions, Vinicio, is how are the regulators responding? Is there discussion of what is the current tax situation for a small business that's coming to formalization for the first time? Is there a grace period where they pay zero tax or pay very low tax? Are there incentives for small business? What are the tax rates that have the regulators seen this as an opportunity and made changes in the laws? Can you?
Yeah, the SAT and Congress are really happy, but they don't have any zero tax policy. They have to pay 5% of the tax of the income that they're receiving. It's not that
5%.
much. 5%. Yeah.
That's income tax or that's
Yeah, income tax.
IVA tax. Okay, that's income tax. Okay.
Yeah. So they have to pay 5%, but government, they're not giving any exemptions and all that. I have a meeting with the head of SAT last week, I think so. They're really happy with what are we doing. They give us all the tools, but I asked certain exceptions for these small businesses. They didn't give it to me, but they said to me, "Okay, Vinicio, don't worry. Your businesses, they do not have they can operate freely, right? We are not going to fiscalize that business as small disclose and have controls over there. You go free, and we're happy. So yeah.
Okay. So it's 5% income tax and then IVA as well, right?
It's the same because the income tax and the IVA is the same for this regimen. Es pequeño
For
contribuyente.
that size business, it's the same. Okay.
Yeah. So
see.
they have a limit of 40K a year, no, 50K a year of sales. If they go over that threshold, they have to go to another tax bracket, and they have to pay 12%. But we are formalizing all this commerce in the small one.
Okay. And these digital payments today, is it mostly card-based? Are there bank transfers? Are there wallet payments? Are there, Quick is starting to, get legs in Guatemala? Like, what are the digital payments that you guys enable and that you're seeing gain traction?
Card payments. I think that in 2018, the card transaction here in Guatemala was at 17%. Right now in 2025, it has 26% of that transaction. So it's building a lot of traction. They're pushing a lot of SIGI or Quick that is transfer based, but you have to scan the QR code. It's a little bit difficult to do. So with credit, just go with your credit card, tap to phone, and the payment is done. So it's, for my thought, is easy, and we're seeing a lot of transaction on credit card.
Okay. And is it what's the fastest and easiest way that you've seen for merchants to accept cards? Is it with an MPOS? Is it with a wireless POS? Is it online? Is it with a pay link?
Tap to phone. For these small businesses. For these small businesses, that's great because a lot of the audience target is Samsung or Android and all that. So it should enable this type of fintech that are going to tap to phone, and they're really happy because they don't have to expand money on another device in their smartphone, they can do this. So it's that tap to phone.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Terrific.
I see another question of Claristasi. Sorry if I say the name wrong. They have a simple estimation for this type of businesses in Guatemala. What do you mean with that? Maybe.
I mean that an exception for small business that sell like $500, I don't know. And they have a simple estimation and they pay a fee, and the 5% is until the amount that you say previous before, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yes.
a simple tax bracket for this size, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really simple. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay.
Yeah, so we can go to the next slide, but I think that's the end of the presentation. Yeah.
So Vinicio, I would, what kind of, just to wrap up, it all sounds fantastic. It all sounds great. I think everyone is in support of this, but this is certainly not easy, right? This is not easy work. So what are the challenges that you guys are experiencing?
Oof. We have a lot of challenges, but maybe funding. But right now with Tributax, we just finished the funding. We raised a capital venture, so we're really excited about that. But maybe the awareness, like I go like a religious person going to every fintech event and saying, okay, we have to formalize, but everybody's have their own goals, their own they have their own problems. So okay, that's a little bit difficult. But right now we're creating a lot of awareness, and a lot of people are really happy because we are formalizing this commerce, and all the fintechs and financial services go attack and sell the services. So they're really happy with that. Remember that here in Guatemala, 70% of the economy is informal. We're talking about millions of people, millions of commerce. Here in Guatemala, there are a lot of entrepreneurs. What do I mean with that is a person go to the market, buy some bread, hot dogs, and they go to the street and put their stand. And yeah, people are really resourceful in that way. And with Tributax and with my allies and my ecosystem, we want to build that to help these entrepreneurs in Guatemala to make their business strong and be better. That's the main objective of Tributax, like to help these small businesses. They have enough trouble. They have the public transportation. They have the healthcare. They have a lot of issues, and we want to solve this issue. Maybe they can make more money with us, and this more money is going to enable to other things. So yeah.
That makes perfect sense. I'm curious, is there a generational change you're observing? Like, I guess, young millennials, Gen Z, who have grown up in this digital age and who are now owning businesses, are they more, they can go earn money by going on TikTok, right? They don't have to sell hot dogs. But so is there like more of an openness to digital tools and being seen and being in front of the government? Is that your segment that you're looking at, kind of that generational divide, or?
Yeah, it's amazing that you mentioned that, Lindsay, because we are seeing that a lot with the small businesses. Like we go to the store, we see the dad cooking, but the dad's is telling their son, okay, he's the guy, the IT guy. So the son's, okay, what I have to do, and we're telling the son, okay, and it's so good. So yeah, we're seeing that a lot with the small businesses here in Guatemala, that we are targeting like 600K small businesses that we can formalize in the next year. And with my experience, are seeing like 60% of these small businesses, they have a generational divide, and they're helping us a lot on that.
Okay, great. Terrific.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have any more questions?
I could keep going forever, but I'm good. This has been fantastic, Vinicio. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, it was great, Vinicius. Thanks a lot for joining us. And Lindsay, also thank you for joining and also present a little bit of the scenario that we do have in Latin America. So here are the contacts for Vinicio. So if you want to get in contact with him, you have the LinkedIn, you have an email. So please reach out to him if you feel interested. And see you in 1 month for our next coffee chat. I won't be here. I will be on vacation, but I guess John Price will be leading our coffee chat next month. So it'll be really interesting too. So hope to see you all in 2 months.